Uh, so I'll share my screen now. So is it visible?
Yeah, it's visual, sir. Make it in a slide mode.
So is it okay?
Yeah, good to go, sir.
Okay. So my topic is role of efficient hardware key generation for high performance secure edge computing. As this mostly aligning with high performance computing. So already in the last three sessions, we have come across the high performance computing in a different way. Yesterday we just discussed about high performance computing on SoC, so system on chip. So how we can integrate all the network chip, communication chip, your computing algorithms, as well as your security system. So everything you can integrate on a single chip. So that is called SoC, system on chip. So that chip you can use for the high performance computing. When you talk about the computing means it is a computing device. When you talk about the high performance computing means it is a computing and for a large scale integration computing device. So there lot of things are involved. It's not only computing, we are computing for communication, we are computing for the sensing, we are computing for the security. So that is entirely is the high performance computing. The challenges comes in the edge computing. The challenges comes in the edge computing. Why? Because now all the things are connected to the internet. So, let's example is your Fitband. The Fitband is connected to your mobile phone through your different communication mode. It can be connected through the 4G, 5G, or it can be connected through the Bluetooth or NFC. So there are so many communication protocol involved to communicate this information between two devices. So where it is computing? Basically, the information comes from your feedback is computing in your edge device. What is that edge device? Is the mobile edge device. Same way, your Alexa. So Alexa is a edge computing device where you control your entire home. So that is what we understand about the edge computing. Edge means it is near to the sensors. So computing means we do the computing near to the edge. So sensors data we capture and transmit to the nearby computing device where it can compute it. So that is the challenge. Challenge is like we are objective is to compute it efficiently. So when you talk about efficiently, so there are a lot of data is generating from the sensor. So that's why the handling those large amount of data and computing and taking the decision making is a very challenging on a edge device. So that is the challenge here. We are all together to understand how we can solve the high performance computing. Now the point is, what is the role of security here? The role of the security is like sensing your lot of personal data. I can give one example like healthcare. So you are collecting your health data like ECG, EEG, or PPG data, or maybe X-ray data. Those are sensing by using a different biomedical sensing device, and that is connected to a nearby edge computing. So these data also needs to protect. So that's why we need some efficient algorithm or maybe efficient computing device which can secure all this data. It's not only securing the data, it also needs to secure your device, like sensor device. So if adversary come and access your sensors and manipulate this data, then doctor will get wrong information about the your patients, and he will treat and he will prescribe wrong medicine for that, because you are entirely depend on one medium of the one platform where you are getting the data, accessing the data through a different mode of channel. So those channels are not secure and those devices are not secure. So if it is not secure, then its decision making will go wrong. So that is reason why this in the high performance computing, mostly in edge computing, we need a security. So what is the solution? So the solution, there are encryption, decryption, obviously cryptography algorithms we propose to solve this problem. So when you talk about the security, we use some mathematical algorithm or cryptography algorithm to make it secure. So what is the basic functionality of this security algorithm? The basic functionality is the your, you can say, uh, what happened? Yeah, the what is the security solution? So the security solution, let's say this is what your data is stored or money is stored or your ornaments are stored in the bank, and some adversary and thief is coming to access those things. So how to protect is this? Obviously, you need a key. So whether it can be a single key, a branch manager was one key, and one key is with you or with your wife or with your family members, so they can use that key, and along with your branch manager will use the combine together so that this key will open and then you can access it. So that means you need a key. The key is the primary function to for any security solution. So how the security solution was provided in during the ancient time? I just go briefly about this. I don't want to take so much time in the ancient time how they were doing. So in this ancient time, they were using the substitution cipher, which is the basic cipher. Cipher means encrypted data is called the ciphers, as you know, everyone. So this ciphers is mostly we are just hiding the information using some key. So what is the cipher? Normal alphabet like A, B, C, D, and the cipher alphabet is C, I, F, P, H, E, R. So how we can generate this cipher data? So we are just shifting the value. So how much shifting? It is shifting by 2, shifting by 3, shifting by 4. So in this example, you can see that we have shifted this A is shifted by 2. Okay. So if you shifted by 2 means the one shifted by 1 means it A is becoming a B and B is becoming a C, and in this case A is becoming a C. So that is how we can do it. Okay, or we can shift by 10 or shifted by 11, we can shift it by 13. So this is how we can normally do the shifting operation. So what more is way you can hide the information, that is what transposition cipher. So transposition means we are simply transposing representing this alphabetic with another alphabetic. How we can represent? So key is, let's say key is a one cat. CAT, and the message is your the sky is blue. So how to hide this the message the sky is blue using the key? So you can create a cat, like you can write the cat like this, and because there are three alphabet, and you can use this message to write this three alphabet. The sky is ISB then LUV. So now you can read this way like HKSUT, T for you can use instead of T you can use H because you want to transposition, so you can use the transposition to convert this hyper this message to the ciphertext. So some other methods also we can earlier it was used, that is the skylight. Skylight, what they were doing, so they were using different size shape of the one wood, and in that shape size they were wrapping the one letter one wrapping one material, and that they were writing something and they are removing it. So to encrypt it, decrypt it, you need the same shape of the would, so that you can decrypt the message. So that is how the ancient time they were using. So Julius Caesar was a very famous. So it is the first cipher used. Mathematical expression was the X plus n mod 26, which is already defined in various applied mathematics, applied cryptography books. You can go through it. And D of 6 X minus n mod 6. Mod means it is a modular operation. It is a number theory arithmetic where your addition, subtraction, everything happens within same number. So why mode 6? Because the total number of alphabet is 26. So that's why there is a mode operation. So this is how they were using the Julius cipher. So the plain text was ABCD, and the cipher was, there is a two rotating things they were using. So Albert cipher disk is also there. So in that case, they were using the outer ring and the inner ring to align each other, and then they are encrypting based on this alignment. So decrypting also can be done if you know the alignment, so which was the sender and receiver must have this alignment number. So sender and receiver agree on an index letter, that is what alignment. For example, 2 on the outer ring, which would be aligned with the A on the inner ring. So that is how we can, during the ancient time, they were encrypting. So that was called the monoalphabetic. So similarly, there are a lot of way they were doing this. You're encrypting the information. During the World War, Enigma machine was very popular, so it was widely used for encrypting. So it was decrypted by Alan Turing. So Alan Turing, British mathematician, who cracked this Enigma Turing, which is called the Turing bombs. So Enigma was the highest level of encryption which was used during the World War. It was used by the German scientist, and Alan Turing, who is the British mathematician, he cracked it. So that's why there is a known Turing Award, which is a more popular award in the world that's for the mathematics people. So it is Alan Turing. So if you comes to this solution, ancient India, how we are using this information to hide the information. So we are using the slokas. So encryption technology in ancient time India, we were using the Payadi Sankhya, that is called Varanasi code. If you go and explore about this Kattapayadi Sankhya, so during that times there are a lot of mathematics involved to analyzing the pi value, and about this sun and moon, how they are moving together. So all the you know that mathematics was well explained in Kattapayadi Sankhya. The ancient Indian secretive of their knowledge sonically encrypted mathematical formula, lyrics to Lord Krishna, and also recorded historical data in the codified lyrics. So the oldest available evidence of the use of Kattapayadi system is the Graha Carbanium by the you can see it is Haridatta in 683 CE. So how they were in hiding the information in Kattapadya. So in the you can see there is a table. So they were using this table, copper one, copper two, copper three, like that. They are mapping this numbers with the alphabetic. So then what how they are converting it to the numbers means encrypting. So in this case, you can just give an example. Gopi Bhagya Madhuvarta Shringshodadhi Sandhiga Khala Jivita Khatava Galahala Rasandra. So it means, so it is a pray for the Lord Krishna. So if you convert it to one cipher using this table, so if you use this table to convert it to the cipher, so then go for go is equal to 3. If you go with here, this go is equal to 3, and pi this gopi the part of p matlab, so it means the p is representing with 1. So you can see the pa is representing with 1, and va is 4. So like that, if you entirely converting to the cipher, so then you can get one number, so encrypted numbers. So this information is translated to a cipher using this Kattapayadi system. So do you know what is this number? Can you guess, anyone? Can you guess this number? What is this number? So this number, I'm unable to. Yeah. Yes, it is a value of pi. Good. So this is the value of pi. Uh, Basically, we are using this. We are using this local to calculate this value of pi or hiding the information of the pi. So this is the pi by 10, correct to 31 decimal place. So now it comes to the modern world. So if you comes to the modern world, So then, as I told you, that computing is now connected to all the edge device. So it is a sensor device. We are connecting to the sensor device. So mostly it is connected to the IoT, Internet of the Things. So this wearable sensors. Let's take one example is the wearable sensor. So you have a lot of wearable. You are using now a lot of wearable sensor which collect the physical data, which can translate it to digital data. So this sensor is converting electrical signal to the digital signal with ADC, DAC, and then the sensors data, once it converts to digital data, it may be your images, it may be your some physical parameters. So that has to be computed. So why it needs to compute it? To measure your physical data, what ECG will give you, it can predict your heart, cardiac arrest, early cardiac arrest. Similarly, EEG data can help you to find out what is the behavior of the mental condition. So that also can be read out by the EEG data. Same way, there are a lot of way we can measure with the different physical sensors available with us, blood pressure and sugar, everything. So in this case, you can see that this can be connected to a nearby device, which is a mobile device or your laptop or desktop. So that can be communicated using your various communication channel like Zigbee or Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or maybe NFC, any communication medium. So those things can be computed there and further transmitted to the remote area where within the local area network, if within the hospital, doctor can access this data through his mobile phone or desktop or laptop. Same way, we can send it to the cloud to further enhancing the performance. So the cloud can update the model based on your input data available, and then further it is optimize the model, and we can re configure the model in the edge device. So this is from the cloud also. It is a, since cloud can store your data permanently, you or a doctor can access whenever you need this data from the cloud. So there is a cloud computing also happening in the cloud. So there is a problem with this mobile edge device because of the memory space is limited in your mobile phone, and also the mobile phone performance is entirely depend upon its processor. So it is a customized mobile processing system. So it is difficult to improve the performance. In that case, you need to improve the performance by accelerating your computing part to the hardware. So how to do this? You can accelerate your computing part to the any hardware reconfigurable device. That reconfigurable device can be your FPGA. So that is called hardware accelerator or accelerated edge computing. So by using this accelerated edge computing, further you can enhance your performance and power, and also you can reconfigure your hardware model. Once you improve the model in the optimize the model in the cloud, the same model architecture can be redeployed on the accelerated hardware device, so that your performance further can be improved. So the problem with this entire system, your entire system is the handling of the data and protecting the data. Okay, so handling of the data is can be done with this processing of the data can be done with the various mechanism with the high performance computing, but protecting the data is one of the important challenge here. So how to protect this data is these IoT enabled devices are mostly resource constrained and battery operated. So rapid growing of the IoT device generates a big amount of data, and key challenge is the data protection and secure communication of the physical sensing data. This is the challenge. And you know the global market of IoT forecast, which almost 30 billions connecting the devices. So in the near future, within a 2 3 years, we can reach up to 30 to 35 billion of connected IoT devices. So where we stand here in India, India is standing with somewhere in by 2020. If you go with India and in the here you can see that. So what is the stand? So we are also growing in this market. So India's position is also growing by 2030. We are expecting it is more than 3 million or 22 million device can be connected, or 20 million device can be connected. So this is the country-wide projection indexing. So earlier, our by 2017, our ranking was 32, but now we are reaching to top two indexing position. So in this case, internet the subscriber also increasing whole of the world because of the data rate is reducing. So everyone using the mobile phone edge computing. The mobile phone is your edge computing. Now sensor can be easily connected to this mobile phone. Even in your mobile phone, we have a camera, and that camera also capture the photos, or in real time also you can easily translate your languages like Google Lens. It's immediately converting it is your one Telugu language to English, Telugu language to Hindi, or any language to another language is easily possible in a real time because of this edge computing. Same way, if you want to identify what plant it is, so when you focus your mobile phone towards the any plant or object, immediately in real time it tells if the plant is some rose or any other plant. So it easily identify in real time within a second. Okay, so that is possible because of this internet is accessible to everyone, and internet is a very cheaper in compared to other world. So that's why there's a huge market and huge data is accessing throughout the world in every second. So that's why big millions of data is generating. So those data need to be protected. So that is what actually challenges is there. And what is the solution? The solution is we can protect by various cryptography mechanisms. That is the basic fundamental. And authentication, integrity, and confidentiality are the basic mechanism. Okay, the first thing is to authorize the device so that you can protect the device. Integrity with the data, integrity with who can access your data and how to protect this data, and confidentiality with encryption, decryption. How to protect the data by using the encryption and decryption. So in all cases, authentication, integration, and author and your case of confidentiality, the entire process requires one basic functionality. The confidence of data over insecure channel or in the memory device is essentially provided by the encryption using a strong cryptography algorithm. As you know, what are the cryptography algorithm? Hiding the information. That is very simple. Okay, so you need to encrypt it by using some mathematical equations, and you need some key. Okay, so in any a cryptography algorithm, you need encryption and decryption using the key. So here you can see the key can be single key, or the key can be two key. So one key you can use for the encryption, another key you can use for the decryption. If you are using one key for encryption, that is called symmetric cryptography. If you are using two keys, then it is called asymmetric cryptography. Okay, so asymmetric cryptography means it is a public key you are using, public and private key you are using. So that the public key is one key and private key is one key, another key. In symmetric encryption, you have to use the private key. So in the symmetric key, so one is the block cipher, and another further it is divided with the block cipher, means how we are encrypting the symmetric key using the single key. So either you can encrypt the entire block, or this is the one entire block you can encrypt, or you can encrypt one by one. So this is one block at a time, one block or bit by bit you can encrypt, or byte by byte you can encrypt. One entire block means it is the entire packet. So this is can be your packet. So this packet can be entirely encrypted by using the same symmetric key, or one block or one bit, or one bit means it is one bit or one byte. Okay, so either one bit or one byte of data you can encrypt at a time, then it is called as a stream cipher. So for resource constrained IoT device demands a lightweight cryptography algorithm. So when you talk about the resource constraint operates as the battery. So you must think in a perspective that your algorithm, whatever the mathematical algorithm, computational block you are using, so that computational block should consume less power. So that is our objective, and that is our challenge also. So lightweight cryptography is our objective to develop. So how to do it? Yes, in the symmetric key, the generation of the key is more easier and the encryption is more easier. So why simple XOR operation we can do with the stream cipher. Okay, in the block cipher, we use a similar to the XOR, but it is not exactly. We are using some stage of the permutation, combination, column matrix, and then a lot of round robin stages we are using. But even on that cases, we are just logical operation we do with the block cipher and stream cipher. Logical operation. There is no mathematical operation involved. Just mathematical operation is in the sense ki addition, subtraction, division, modulation, these things are not involved. But in case of asymmetric cipher, asymmetric encryption, lot of mathematical computation like addition, subtraction, these computational algebraic means algebraic computation is involved. Okay, so that consumes lot of power. So that is reason why asymmetric encryption is not recommended for the encryption decryption. Instead of that, we are using for authentication, digital signature, or one-time paid. So in that case only we are using asymmetric encryption, and in symmetric encryption we are using the communication channel for continuous streaming of your data packets. So when you are transmitting in a communication channel, so continuously you are sending the packets in a serially. So in that case, so you need a high throughput and low power encryption technique. So that encryption technique mostly we are using symmetric encryption. In stream cipher, right now the industry using is a Trivium. Okay, so that is reason why we are mostly focused on the stream cipher to encrypt it in the channel. So where the stream cipher is obvious choice that provides the fastest encryption decryption with the less hardware security complexity. But there is a problem. There is a trade-off. So that trade-off I will explain. So the performance of stream cipher relies on the efficient generation of the security. So voice is not audible. Okay. Can you check the voice right now?
Sir, voice is audible.
Okay. Yeah. So where this is stream cipher is an obvious choice. The performance of stream cipher entirely depend because there is no cryptography algorithm involved to encrypt. Only some logical way we are encrypting, just like a AES or BS. And in the case of stream cipher, we are just XORing. So XOR is not a simple algorithm. It is just a logical operation. So that logical operation we use to encrypt it. But we need some efficient key generation so that it can encrypt it and it can hide and protect the information. So strong keys here is important. So how to generate the strong key, that is the challenge. Okay, so to generate the strong key, so we need to understand how to measure the strongness of the key. Okay, so that comes under the properties. So random number, the number that occurs in a sequence such that it is impossible to predict future value based on the past and present value. Okay, if you know the some set of values, then you should not predict it. Okay, you should not predict the present next value. Also, you should not predict the previous value if you know the current value. That is the random number. Okay, so there are two type of random number. One is the true random number, another is the pseudo random. Then the terminology used true random means it is always true. True means you cannot predict the next bit even though you know the set of current numbers. So pseudo means it is a partial random number. That means you need some mathematical model to generate it so that it can repeat it again because of the mathematical behavior nature of this. Okay, but true random number is directly captured from the noise. Okay, your some sensor is there. The sensor's data will is nothing but is a completely noise, and it is random, fully random. Example is your temperature sensor. If you use a temperature sensor, it always give you a random value every second, every microsecond. Okay, in that sense, within the same environment condition also, it will give you some random values. So that random values is a pure random number. You cannot regenerate the sequence again and again. Okay, so that sequence you cannot generate it. So in the case of a true random number, the generator which extract the randomness from the physical phenomena and introduce into the computer is called the tier engine. So that means every time you have to generate it, and you need to store this generated data on a memory. to further use it for the encryption. Okay, so you need a large amount of memory to store it. So in the stream cipher case, your what is the properties like your message is in packet. You know that it is the packet is very large. When the packet is continuously transmitting from one edge device to another edge device or edge device to server, so or maybe sensor to edge device, it is a continuous process. So when it is continuous process, do so you need to generate your number continuously. So the number, random number should be larger than the information you are transmitting. So that is what exactly you need to generate using the TRNG with a larger number, amount of numbers. So how large? It can be a millions, it can be a billions. So is it possible to generate? Yes, it can be possible. If it is possible, immediately you can use that number to transfer to encrypt your data. But the point is how to decrypt your number. So that is the major challenge, because to decrypt your information, you need the same key, because it is a symmetric. As I told in the previous slide, it is a symmetric. You need the same key to decrypt it. So how to get this stream to the other side? As a sender, you can send encrypted data, but as a receiver, how can I get I can only receive the encrypted data, but how to get this key? If I transmit the same key to the sender with the same channel, so anyone can access this number, random number. So this key, it can be accessed by the adversary. So that is reason why we cannot transmit the same number with the same channel when where we are sending the information. So that way I need one more channel, secure channel, to transmit this number, this key number. Okay, so how to develop another secure channel? Yes, that is also a challenge. So that is reason why we are using OTP based thing. True random number still we are using, but it is only for authentication, authenticate the device, authenticate the user. So that's why OTP based, Aadhaar based OTP we are generating to verify whether this person is authorized. Then we are once the secure establishment is done between sender and receiver, then we use the pseudo random bit generator to encrypt the data and decrypt the data. Okay, so that is why we have a network security protocol, and that network security protocol ensure this. It uses the various stage of the encryption decryption process. Okay, so there is in true random number, there is no definite mathematical formula to define your to define your random number generator. So there is no possibility of the reproducibility. You cannot reproduce the same number again. So you have to store it and transmit it. So storing means it is easier to access the storage data by the adversary. Memory can be easily accessed by anyone else. Okay, so no producibility is there. That is one need to record all the generated number if one would like to reproduce the whole sequence of the decryption in the receiver. In the pseudo-random number, yes, you can regenerate it. Pseudo-random is something that likes a random, but is generated by a deterministic process starting with the initial seed. Okay, and the pseudo-random bit generator means instead of a byte generator or maybe equivalent of your integer, we are generating one bit at a time. Okay, so in that case, this is called a bit generator. So due to deterministic process, PRBG can or PRNG can be reproduced the random bit sequence or random number sequence from same seed that can be suitable for both encryption and decryption in cryptography algorithm. So what are the properties? So when you talk about the any random number, the ideal scenario is the true random number, because the source of entropy is very high. In this case of TRNG, thus every time you will get a different number. And the properties, what is the properties the true random number? If you go with in case of a true random number, it is a independent. First thing is independent. What is the independent? Independent means the source is, this is my source. Okay, this is my source, and this source is generating numbers. So one source, if I generating the number from one source, so that means, let's say this number is key 1, this number is key 2, and this number is key 3. So K1 is generated from the source, K2 is also directly generated from the source. K3 is generated from the same source. But K2 nowhere is related to K3, K1, or K2 is not related to K1, or K3 is not related, is dependent on the K2. So that is called independently they are generating from the same source. The source is same, but the generation of this number is not dependent on the previous number. That is called independent. And what is the uniformly distributed? So this number has the probability. That means this probability getting, let's say this is the 3 number. I am generating a number 3, then 5, then 7, or maybe 9. These 3 number I have generated from my source. So what is the probability of generating 3? What is the probability of generating 5? And what is the probability of generating 9 out of all the numbers? Out of all the numbers. So the probability should be equal to 5 equal to 9. So that is what uniformly distributed. So when the probability is equal in for generating all the numbers, so then it is called uniformly distributed. I can give you one example also. So third property is the keystone should be as long as the plain text. Okay, if my message is, let's say my messages are M1, M2, M3, M of dot Mn. So my key should be also K1, K2, K3, and Kn plus 1. Okay, so in this case, my key stream should be larger than my message. Then only it can encrypt the entire signal. Otherwise, what will happen? The same key you have to use repeatedly with the message. What is the problem if I use the same key? Let's assume that if I am using M1 equal to 1011 and M2 is I'm using 0000. So when you XOR, because I told you this cipher is nothing but Ci is equal to Ki XOR Mi. So in this case, if you use the 00, what you will get? Obviously, you will get the same number. So now you can easily retrieve the key if you put value M is equal to 0. So that is the how the adversary attack the get the key. Once you get the read out the key, then obviously you can decrypt the message by using the reverse process. Okay? So this key size of the PRBG should be sufficiently large so that adversary cannot guess the key string. So random key generator should achieve 3 goals. So when you are developing any random key, you should have a 3 goals for encryption and decryption. So first rule is the first properties is the these are the basic property, and for generating the key you should achieve this goal. What is the goals? While you are developing the random number randomness. So how to measure the randomness? The sequence must be highly random. It's okay. It means that it satisfies all the statistical properties. But how to measure the randomness? So randomness measurement can be done NIST rule. So what is the NIST? It is the National Institute of Standard and Technology. They have provided one tool which has a 16 number of tests. Okay. So this 16 number of benchmark test has to be. So what are these tests? These are the statistical tests. So what is the statistical tests involved? Run test, number of zero, how many number of zeros ones are there. In this example, you can see there is no one in this sequence. So that means what is the property? Means it should be balanced. If it should be balanced, means total number of 0 and total number of 1 in a sequence must be equal. That is the first rule. Okay, similarly, there are so many statistical rule which is tested by the NIST, which is standardized by the NIST. So you have to test your random number generator with this NIST test tool. Okay. Similarly, second part is of your security to make sure that your key can be used for encryption decryption. Then that is called a cryptographically secure. So what is the understanding about the cryptographical secure? How can you say it is a cryptographical secure? The random sequence must be cryptographically secure, means one should not able to predict the next bit and the initial seed by knowing the current sequence. Example, as I said, this pseudo-random number is generated from the x n is equal to, or xi plus 1 is equal to, let's say it is axi plus 1, okay, or axi plus b. In this case, this number is depend on the this previous value. Okay, here in this case, what is the properties, the ideal condition? The k1 k2 should not depend on the k1, but here it is depending. So it is depending means it is not satisfying the true random number property, but you have to make sure it is a cryptographical secure. How to make sure? That means you have to find out if you are able to generate, let's say I am generating my initial seed is 3, okay, that is my x naught, and I am generating x1, x2, x3, x4 like that. And if I know that value of, let's say, x7, x8 and x9, these three numbers I know. Now how come I can generate the next bit and the previous bit without knowing the seed? So that is the things, it's like a not able to predict the next bit and initial seed. If I know the x7, x8, x9, x9, then I should not predict the x naught. So that is called initial seed by knowing the current sequence of the bits. If you know the x naught, then there's no need to worry about that, means easily you can decrypt it with this value of initial seed. Okay, then third one is the hardware complexity. As I just, my focus was the IoT, resource constraint IoT device, resource constraint edge computing device. So the hardware complexity is another your constraint. Okay, so hardware based cryptography for stream cipher application in the IoT device demanded low hardware cost, obviously low power, high speed, high throughput, okay, for generating the pseudo bit at uniform clock rate. So there are so many literature, you can go through it. I'm not taking so much time in the brief literature. So this is one case of which my students have done and I also done. So blum sub which is very popular for generating the pseudo random bit. So it is using a one deterministic algorithm that is called congruential nonlinear mathematics, where we are using a x is equal to x square model. So this x square is provide the nonlinearity, and mode operation mode n is the modulus arithmetic. Okay, and this congruential, this equation is called the congruential equation. Okay, that is meant equivalent. This xi is equivalent to this. I can give you one example. Let's say x0 is equal to 2. If I say x0 is equal to 2 and n is equal to, let's say it is 3 into 5 is equal to 15. Let us assume. Okay, so this n is equal to 15. So now if I do x square is equal to x naught square mod 15 is equal to 4. So what is the residue I am getting? The residue I am getting 4. Now next cycle I can go to 4 square mod 15. So how much I can get? I can get 1. Okay, so that means this modular operation can work between 0 to 15. 0 to, yes, 15, 14. Okay, this is how we can find out what is the residue. We can calculate the residue using this one. So same way we can find out, this is the random number generator RNG, or you can say PNRG, and this is called the PBRG, pseudo random bit generator, PRNG or PRBG. Okay, so you can say PRNG, and this is, we can say PRBG. Okay, so here I'm doing a mod 2, so that means it is able to generate the binary number. Okay, I can do a mode 4 also, no problem. I can do mode 4, mode 5 to get a 2 bit or 5 bit. So what is the mode 2 and mode 4? Basically, if you do the mode 2, means you are generating a 1 n bit, let's say 0 1 0 1 1 0. So this is the total 6 bit I am generating. And mode 2 means I am just extracting the LSB. This is means mode 2. So this 0 is my LSB. Okay. If I use the mode 4 means, so I can generate the 2 bit 1 0 is the mode 4. Okay. So that means it is a either you can extracting 2 bit, extracting 4 bit, or extracting 8 bit. It depend upon the this mode operation. Okay. And mode n means it is a reminder. Basically mode n means it is a reminder you are finding. So x naught is the already I have explained how to generate this number. So x naught, how to choose the x naught? X naught is equal to s square for a mode n, that is called the SID. Okay. And how to choose this n? N is equal to p into q, and p is the prime number, large prime number, q is also a large prime number. So these are called the Blum integer. And if you want to generate a maximum length period, so what is the maximum length? This is the most important part of any random number. This is the most important property. So if you want to use for any stream cipher, you must generate an as large as of the random number for hiding the for encrypting the message signal. So in that case, you have to generate the maximum length. So what is the maximum length? In case of a 4-bit LFSR, if I go with the 4-bit LFSR, what is the maximum number it can generate? It can generate 1 to 15, any number. Okay, but it cannot generate 0. It cannot generate 0. So there are total number of bits it can be generated 2 to the 4 minus 1. That is the maximum number it can generate. That is 15 numbers. 0 cannot be possible because we are using the XOR gate in the LFSR in the for feedback circuit. So that's why it cannot generate, you cannot use the 0 as the initial seed. But other than that, we can use any number, and from that initial seed, we can get maximum 15 numbers. Okay, that is the maximum length of the your LFSR. If your message size is 128, then you can use a 8-bit LFSR. Same way, you can use more than 8-bit of LFSR. Okay, so that is why the period is finding the period is one of the important property of any random number generator. Okay, so how to get here in this case? Here in this case, the P as Q, let's say example is 3 and mode 4. So if I choose, so in this case, P of Q equivalent to 3 mode 4. That means you have to choose a P, you have to choose a Q, which is equivalent to 3 mode 4. Okay. So what is that P value? So you can choose the P value like equal to, let's say 11. If I choose 11, then it should be equal to mode 4. If I do the mode 4, so what is the value I can get? The value I can get, it is, so 4 into 2, 8, and the remainder is 3. So I can get a 3 mode 4. Okay. If I choose Q is equal to 7, if I use Q is equal to 7 mode 4. In this case, what is the my value reminder? The reminder value is 3. So this 11 is also satisfying and 3 is also satisfying. But let's say if I'm using P is equal to 13. If I'm using P is equal to 13 mode 4, in this case, what is my reminder? My reminder is 1. So this is not allowed. This prime number I cannot use to this use to find out the n value. Okay. So these are the different things you have to consider to get a maximum prime maximum period of length. Okay, so why this BBS is a more secure? The reason is it is a time unpredictable. Time on polynomial time unpredictable means within the polynomial time you cannot predict it. The reason is large factorized problem. Okay, so large factorial problem, where it comes, the large factorization problems comes from the prime numbers, because we are using the mode n, which are the prime numbers, and factorizing the prime numbers is difficult. So that is reason it is difficult to predict. So what is the size we can choose? So the recommended size is more than 1024 bits. So that can be used as a seed. Okay. So what is the means if you go with the architecture, because the first thing is the understanding the algorithm, understanding the properties, and then mapping this algorithm to the architecture. Because our third objective of your generating the pseudo random bit any PRBG or PRNG is the efficient the architecture. So what is the architecture? So first thing, you have to map the things to the block level architecture. So in this case, you are using a mathematical equation which compute this x square mod n. So what you are doing here, what computation you are doing here? We are doing a multiplication and a division. So from the division, we are finding a one remainder. So this is called the modular multiplier. Modular multiplier. Lot of research is happening right now in this modular multiplier computing algorithm. So the most popular modular multiplier is the Montgomery. So we can use this Montgomery algorithm to implement this modular multiplier. Okay. Similarly, for computing the seed, because it is one times s square mod n, so that there also we can do the use the Montgomery multiplier, but it's not a repeated operation. But here it is the repetitive operation. Okay. So how to map this block level architecture to the functional? This is called the functional architecture. Functional level architecture. Okay, in this functional level architecture, as I said, you have to replace this block level architecture with a modular multiplier. Which modular multiplier? We are popular modular multiplier is the Montgomery. Okay, so it is a kind of accumulator. So every time the generated output is storing some register here, and that register again fed to the input. The register output is fed to the input. So how we are inputting? Initially we are giving the initial seed, then repeat next clock cycle we are giving the old values. So that is reason why we need a multiplexer. So that multiplexer is fed to multiplexer connected to the two input. One is the repeated output and another is the initial seed. So there is a control circuit is required to control this multiplexer. Okay, and then the final output can be come out from the multiplier, and then we can extract the LSB. We can extract the LSB from the register. We don't need any extra circuitry to get this PRBG. So this is my PRNG and this is my PRBG. Okay. So what is the complexity of the modular? This as per the literature, the parallel there we can use the parallel approach and iterative approach. So there is always trade-off between parallel approach and iterative approach. To perform this modular multiplier, we have to use the multiplier and reduction. Okay, in this case, if you go with the parallel approach, what is the area? The area can be, if you go with the any array multiplier. So in this case, 2n square for full adder. And what is the latency? Latency is 1 or 2 clock cycle. You can get the output. Okay, but that is the latency. But what is the critical path? The critical path is the total number of stages you are using in the parallel approach. For that stage consists of the full adder stages. Okay, so that number of full adder delay you can expect in the parallel approach. What is the iterative approach? So you are using the only one adder repeatedly. So the adder area is reduced to 2n into full adder. Imagine what is the area? It is 2n square area, and here it is 2n full adder. Obviously, you are able to reduce the area. Okay, and what is the latency? The clock latency, because of the iterative nature, so your clock latency is increasing, but critical path is here decreased. So there is always a trade-off. That is a challenge. So you can use the radix 2 Montgomery multiplication algorithm to perform this operation, to perform this multiplication. Then radix 2 this is the multiplier and this is the modular, because there are two part we can divide this multiplier. One is the reduction, one is the multiplication, and another is the reduction. So the first algorithm is the multiplication and the second algorithm is used for the reduction. So this is how we can perform it. So how to do it? We are recalling the same because reduction is nothing but a multiplication. So we are repeating this two stages of multiplication for performing the modular multiplication using the Montgomery. So there is a modification I have done with this. Earlier we are using one multiplexer two operand adder. So you can see that with this algorithm, this S is equal to S plus AB. So here we are using two operand. So if you go with this Radix 2 Montgomery algorithm, it uses the two operand adder. Okay, but little bit I have modified this algorithm. By modifying the algorithm, here what we do we have done. So we have done with this some pre-compute this carry part, and then from the multiplexer. So then we have find out the equivalent value of Q naught based on this selection line. So then that can be converted to one three operand adder. So how to do it? So S plus A, you can see that this is one, this is second operand, okay, and this is the third operand. So this S is one operand, AB is one operand, and Q naught A is the another operand. So it is a three operand adder. So what are the three operand adder used available in the literature? That is the carry save adder. So mostly we use a carry save adder for the three operand. So this is the architecture mapping, which is complete architecture of iterative triple M multiplier, Montgomery modular multiplier. So we have optimized this architecture. By using this, we have replaced this two operand adder with the three operand adder. Okay. So further we have proposed, this is the the Blum set. What is the problem in this case? That is the 2n clock cycle latency. What is the challenges is clock latency. And what more challenges is multiplication. There are two multiplication we are using here. And further the latency is because of the iterative nature, the latency is 2n clock cycle. So 2 multiplier, okay, and latency is 2n. So here the multiplier involves the your computational consuming the most area and power, and also it because of that it the latency is more. But security point of view, yes, because of the large prime number, so it is highly secure. Polynomial time unpredictable. So to eliminate this problem, to optimize this problem, we have come with one more solution that is called the dual coupled LCG method. So LCG is nothing but is a linear. You can see this is called the LCG method. What is the LCG? Linear congruential generator. Linear congruential generator is just like a LFSR. The properties is very. It is only satisfying the randomness, some of the properties of the randomness, but it's not secure. So in paper 2010, it is suggested one approach, that is what is the non-linearity they introduce in the mathematical equation. What is the non-linearity here? The non-linearity is like zi is equal to 1 or 0 when it compares the four, it is using the 4 LCZ. Out of 4 LCZ, it compares 2 LCZ and compares the another 2 LCZ. Then if we find greater than, if x is greater than, y is greater than, x is greater than y and p is greater than q, then it assign the value 1. And if x is less than 1 and p is less than 1, then it's assigned 0 to the z. That is the word randomness because of the non-linearity introduced here. Here the advantage is it satisfy all the randomness property except few 2 3 except few 3. But the complexity of the circuit is it is a 4 LCZ it requires. So in the 4 LCZ, if you see, it uses 4 three operand adder. So instead of multiplication, it uses a three operand adder. So if you see what is the A, so A and A3, A1, A2, A3 is multiplying with the initial seed, is fine. But how they have done this, A1 is the odd number. Odd number. So what is this odd number? This odd number can be anything. It can be anything. So it can be anything means it can be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 or anything. Any odd number. So within that odd number, it can be any number. That means I can do one thing like a 2 to the power 1 plus 1. So it means it is 3. 2 to the power 2 plus 1. equal to, it is 5. 2 to the power 3 plus 1, it is 9. Like that, this is the odd number. This odd number is also a subset of this complete odd numbers. So I have chosen this A1 in a such a way so that it can be, instead of multiplication, it can be a 2 to the power 1 multiply, or 2 to the power n multiply x. So it means it is a shifting operation. Okay, it is the left shifting operation we are doing here instead of multiplication. Then because of that, we are getting a 2 to the power n x plus b. So this is completely a 3 operand adder. Okay, so we are removing this multiplication or division, computing of the multiplication division with this shifting operation and one 3 operand order. So that is reason why it consumes a less area, and it also satisfy all the randomness properties. Also it satisfy the some of the forward predictability and backward probability properties. So here, what is the challenges in this mathematical equation is the your it is unable to map to the actual hardware. So where, what is happening if x is equal to y and p is equal to q. So these are not defined here. These two conditions are not defined in this equation. Okay, so in this case, this satisfy most of the properties: forward predictability, backward predictability, which is mathematically proven, as well as it gives you means a highly random sequence. But the problem is complexity. Second problem is the periodicity. The periodicity also not defined by the author. Okay, so periodicity is one of the important challenge. The problem, when x is equal to y, p is equal to q, we don't know what will happen. So that means the period is uncertain here. The period is, there can be a possible case when x is equal to y and y is means p your p is equal to q. There can be a possible cases can come. In that scenario, how to make sure that your design will work, okay, with a maximum length period. It can generate a sequence up to maximum length period, and also it is not defined what is the maximum length period. In this LCG, the maximum length period is 2 to n, but in this case it is not proven. Okay, that is the problem, that is the trade-off. So the dual CG method generates one bit output only when it holds both inequality condition. The output of this dual CG method chooses the value bi, ci is 0, as it keeps the value bi and does not give any binary value at the output. That is the problem. As a result, the dual CG method is unable to generate pseudo-random bit at each iteration. For stream cipher, for application of the stream cipher, we need to generate the random number sequence in every iteration. Random number in every iteration. But here it is unable to means find out. Okay, but we have suggested one solution in the architecture level. What he did, so we have first map the algorithm to the architecture. From the architecture, we generated the sequence and store the sequence on the memory. Okay, store the all the sequences on the memory. So how much we can store? Obviously, we can store as much as we need for encrypting the message. So that is the one case we try to store it. But the problem is, it is uniformly it is not generating. Means it is not generating every sequence. So it fails to achieve the maximum length also, 2 to n, which depend on the number of zeros one in CI, and also varies between from number something which is 1 to 2 to n. That is also problem. So we try to generate and map to the some memory based design. So we have developed a memory based design with the statistical analysis of this output, and then we come through with a suggestion when solution, that is a controller. We have developed a controller that can be first generate the sequence and store the k bit, whatever the bits is required, or until unless it generate the k bit, it will run. And once it is generated the k bit, it will stop the generation and then start encrypting. So that much of latency is required. So what is the latency? Latency is either k bit or greater than k bit, because sometimes it requires more than of k bit to generate the k. Because why? If the case is like x is equal to y or p is equal to q, if satisfied at that point, it will not generate any bits. So in that case, it will skip that number and skip that output, and then further it will process it and try to generate another bit. So in this case, you may need more than k cycle, clock cycle, to generate the k number of bits. So that is the latency which involves to generate the process. So then we thought to modify these things, and we come with the solution which is called the Jedi is equal to 1 if it generate this things by replacing with the new equation. Jedi is equal to bi plus ci mod 2. What I have done, I have generated the bi and ci, and then I have added these two number with the mod 2. So first I have generated the ci, then I have generated the bi, okay, with the same inequalities. Both are the unequal equation. Then I have added these two numbers by using the mod operation. In this case, what I have achieved, first thing I have achieved the maximum length of 2 to n. So this CIE is can be generated maximum of 2 to the power n. Why 2 to the n? Because if it satisfy this condition, it can generate 1. In other condition, it can generate 0. So it satisfy all the conditions, inequality conditions. Similarly for the BI. So since xi is a 2 to n, so the my ci is also generating the 2 to n. Here also it can generate 2 to n. Okay, but in case of bi plus ci, it is nothing but a simple XOR gate. So it is also 2 to n. It can generate a 2 to n. And we have gone through this niche test analysis. It passes all the 16 benchmark tests, and the security strength also increase up to n into 2 to the 4n. So what is the security strength here? Forward predictability and backward predictability. We have done this forward predictability and backward predictability with mathematical analysis with the probability theory, and it is the complexity is like order of n to the power 4n. That means you need this much of iteration to solve this equation. Okay, this much of iteration required to solve this. That means is a polynomial time predictable. I'm not saying it is unpredictable. A polynomial time unpredictable. Okay, it can be predictable, but with the complexity of n into 2 to the 4n. So the complexity is increasing here. So this architecture is simplified. Now there is no memory element is required. Only two comparators are required, and that can be XOR with the output of the comparator can be XOR, and that is published in the circuit system 1, transaction circuit system 1. Now further comes with the new another method. What is the problem here? The problem is two comparator. Because any high performance computing, you need to optimize the hardware. If you optimize the hardware, you can able to reduce the area, you can reduce the power consumption, you can increase the throughput. So that is the main objective. So now without disturbing the any properties, what I try to do, so I have modified this little bit in the algorithm. Again further in the algorithm, the variable that the linear equation part, the value was the b was the constant. Okay, it was the b. So that was the constant value. Instead of the constant value, I have taken one variable. Okay, so that is also one called as a VILCG, variable input LCG. So in this case, this PI and BI are the LCG. I have replaced this B with the PIQI, and that PI is nothing but generated by another linear congressional generator. So now what I did, so I have done this inequality equation for generating ZI by comparing X with YI. Because of that, I am able to generate the pseudorandom bit at every iteration, and moreover it reduces one complex comparison process like a comparator. So this paper is published in IEEE transaction instrumentation. Okay, so this is how I have done this optimization by reducing one comparator area. So next step is this is the you can see the niche test result comparison where I in the existing methods which I followed this dual CLG method. So here you can see this is a highly secure, but it is random. Most of the tests are passing. Only few tests are failed. Few tests are failed. But in our cases, CVLG, MD, MDLC, all the tests are passing. We have taken the for this test we have taken the 100 sequences, and each sequence, one sequence consists of 10 to the power 6 number of bits. That means 0 1 0 1, like that. It is 10 to the power 6 number of bits we have taken. And similarly, we have taken a 100 sequence. Similar sequence, we have taken 100 sequence for testing as per the standard conditions provided in the NIST testing. Okay, so we have done this analysis. Also, we have done compare this value with non-linear PRBG, that is a chaotic based PRBG, and this chaotic based PRBG also not means passing all the niche tests. Chaotic is highly secure because of the it is extracting from the noise, but it is not passing all the tests. Also, chaotic involves lot of floating point multiplication and also post processing. So that is reason why the complexity of the chaotic is more than the LFSR and our method approach. So we have also compared with the different size of the LFSR, which is the basic LFSR for generating. So these are the area and time complexity you can see. So in this case, Blum sub method, which is highly secure, is requires 2n plus clock cycles for generating the one bit, one number, and CLCC generating every clock cycle. Here dual CLC generating at K2's clock cycle, and the dual CLCC memory based generating 2 clock cycle, but initial clock latency is more. But in modified clock cycle, you can see the initial latency and the output latency are 1 clock cycle. And critical path also you can see it is only one adder and 3 multiplexer. But in case of three operand adder and three multiplexer, but here in this case one three operand adder and one multiplexer. So these are the comparison, and further we have modified this architecture because this monitor in the entire dual CG or CBLC architecture, there are two things are involved. One is the comparator, another is the three operand adder. We have further thought to optimize this three operand adder. Basically, we are using the carry save adder earlier, but now we have replaced with our own optimized architecture. So that architecture is called the three operand adder. So that is a Hankelson based three operand adder. We have done with some literature survey, and some of the two operand hybrid Hankelson and the HC2 operator ultra fast two operand adders are available in the literature. So those we have after following, so we have come through this some hybrid modeling of this architecture. So in this carry save adder, you know that there are full adders are used, and the last stage is the carry propagation stage. So we can use the Hankelson to replace this three operand, designing the two stage of the carry save adder. So here we have proposed one adder, that is one first stage is coming with first stage we have gone with the bit addition logic. The second stage is the base logic, and third stage we have replaced with the PG logic, which is the Hankelson modified algorithm, HCA, HCA topology. We have used the Hankelson based topology with some modification. Okay, and that we have added in this PG logic. And this base logic and bit addition we have added, then we have come through with the new architecture, that is the three operand architecture, which is published in transaction circuit system. So these are the complexity you can see. This is our proposed method. Also we have developed one hybrid Hankelson three operand adder based on the paper 22, and that is also we have developed and the complexity we have compared. You can see the complexity. It requires only for 32 bit or 64 bit or 128 bit. Accordingly, we have calculated this complex time complexity, and the area complexity we have calculated. Okay, so this proposed architecture saves 43.4%, 52%, and 50% of area gate area. Then the has three adder. Moreover, the critical delay of the proposed adder are also significantly reduced by 81% or up to 93% compared to your carry save adder. Okay. So this is the physical synthesis result based on the SAAD library, 32 nanometer CMOS library synthesized using the Synopsys design compiler. And this is the graphically comparison. You can see that how much power consumption and how much area delay product we have calculated the area delay and ADP and PDP. So which is ADP, PDP also is better here. Okay. And also the same thing we have used this three operand adder for developing this modified dual CLG algorithm. And we have compared this result in the same CMOS technology, and it is this ADP PDP is better compared to other existing method. You can see that ratio. So this is one, so it is almost the CCAs is almost double. Carry save adder is almost double this PDP. Even in the case of ADP, this ADP ratio is almost double. So this is how this paper is published in IEEE Transaction Circuits and System. So this is a setup, experimental setup on FPGA, as well as because we have done these things on the Synopsys design compiler, but we are not able to fabricate it. However, we have validated the design on the FPGA using the logic analyzer. So these are the output, and this you can overall comparison. If you want to see, you can see that BBS is passing all the niche tests, but output latency, input latencies are more, and CLCG fails the most of the niche tests. Direct architecture also fails the most of the niche tests. However, input output latency is also more. In case of proposed dual CG method architecture, it is also fails the most of the cases. Memory based design, it also fails the most of the these tests. In case of modify and proposed CBLC, all the tests are passing with high consistency, and also it gives the output in every clock cycle. So latency is less, and critical, if you comes to the critical path point, so critical path also is better, is lower in compared to other, because it is only using one adder and one multiplexer. So that entire adder and multiplexer is mapped to the lookup table. So it is based on the critical path we have calculated based on the lookup table, not exact gate. Okay. So summary is, with an efficient modular multiplier technique, the area and performance can be improved in the BBS method, because the still BBS is more secure than our method. However, we have increased the complexity for means at finding for finding the initial seed or predicting the next bit. So complexity is still polynomial time unpredictable. However, we can improve this modular multiplier technique in the BBS to further optimize the, and also with an efficient three operand adder, further we can optimize this three operand adder using some new topology, parallel prefix topology, and comparator also we can further optimize. Then area performance also can be improved in the in our proposed architecture. So dynamic clock can be introduced in the CVCLG, that also already published. We are also working in the dynamic clock. Here we have not given the some architecture. Already we have done this dynamic clock based. Because it is not published, I have not given the details of this mathematical part as well as the architecture. Already we have done, and some of the dynamic clock base is already published. So based on this CVCLG method. So the periodicity in chaotic base. So one more thing is chaotic base is now very popular because of this. It's very aligned to the true random number. However, the major problem is the floating point multiplication, floating point addition. So and also third problem is the periodicity. If you find out the periodicity and optimize the floating point multiplication, then this one is the best choice for the generating the key for generating the random key for stream cipher. So even some of my students are still working to define the periodicity in the chaotic, as well as they are developing an efficient architecture for this floating point multiplication. That work also almost done. So but due to it is not submitted to any journal, so I cannot show the things. So if you have any question, you can ask.
participants, if you have any questions, you can put your question in the chat box or raise your hand.
Do you have any question?
Like there are no questions in the chat box,
Can you throw
and
some more light on compressed sensing, and can Jetson board be used for hardware implement? What is the Jetson board? I don't know what is the Jetson board. Is it a microcontroller you are asking? Okay, okay. So yes, that microcontroller based, the problem is the generating. You can generate with the software environment. Mostly key generation is done by software environment till today. But now they are switching, means they are moving towards the hardware generation. You can see there are a lot of secure processor is there. So even though there are so many AI hardware is available, so this AI hardware is mostly based on the processing environment. So when it comes to the processing environment, it is mostly accessed through the software environment. When you use the software algorithm to generate, so it is easily means attack. This key generation, the key after key generation, you are storing somewhere in the memory. So memory attack is most easier for the adversary to access. Once he access your keys, then it is easy to retrieve all the information. So that is how these applications are attacked by the different viruses. So your even bank details, everything is can be easily readable. The password can be readable using the cookies. So that is what the problem challenges in the software environment. That's why they are coming with the hardware security. So that AI, yes, you can use it. The problem is the security in this case. Compressed sensing, I don't know about much more. So I can explore on this area, but I don't know about it. Yeah, anyone else? If you have, you can call me. Means you can drop a mail to my mail ID. So anytime you can drop. So related to properties, how to measure the randomness, how to find out the forward predictability and backward predictability. Any question if you have, so you can anytime you can drop message on my mail ID. It is there in the website. So you can go to our website profile, my profile on the website. You can find out my mail ID. So so you can drop your queries or any help related to guidance related to cryptography algorithms implementing the hardware or pseudo random number implementing to the hardware. You can ask me anytime. Yeah,
so like no more questions. So I would
fine.
like to thank our esteemed speaker, Dr. Amit Kumar Panda, AAA Department, Bichutani, Hyderabad campus, for sharing their valuable insights and expertise. Your explanation of efficient key generation design and its role in security has been enlightening. The innovative approach and practical solution you discussed have undoubtedly expanded our understanding of this vital topic. And to our attendees, your participation and engagement have enriched the discussion. Your curiosity and question reflect the enthusiasm driving innovation in this field. So today we had two sessions. First session on transceiver chips and its application delivered by Dr. Prasanna from Triple IT Allahabad, and second talk on design of efficient key generator for hardware security delivered by Dr. Amit Kumar Panda, Triple A Department, Betslani, Hyderabad campus. And
Thank you.
participants, information. Tomorrow's session will start 11 a.m. speaker, Dr. Karthik, is from US, and due to timing mismatch, we'll have to start our session from 10 a.m. The updated schedule will be shared along with the Webex link accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit.